Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report. We have a lot of stuff to cover with you guys. Shout out to everybody that is in the chat box with us and everybody watching live. If you catch this on the replay, make sure you guys hit like on this video, and really do appreciate that. It helps out the channel immensely. So, guys, we're looking at the aftermath of this complete ass whooping that the Cardinals gave us. We thought it would be a better showing by the Cowboys. Mike, I was hoping they would rally around Dak Prescott. They didn't do it, man. What's your first take from this game? Good, bad, anything good from this game?
Nothing good. Nothing good from this game at all, Joe. It was a straight embarrassment. We were so surprised that the Dallas Cowboys defense was allowing these guys to punt in the first and a half of quarter of football. And that should be no surprise. That should be, happening all the time, and it's like, wait a minute, these guys are forcing punts. And then number 21, who got the bag, is fumbling. Like he cannot stop the fumbling, Joe. And obviously it put the defense in a rut. Wall was against them. And there's only so much that this defense, they're not bend and break. They're just a broke defense, right? And you put them in that situation, they're going to fail every time. I think, opponents had 12 red zone trips on us, and they scored on all 12. So this defense really isn't that good. I mean, let's just call it what it is. This defense really stinks, and I could even call them the weakest link because we've had special team errors. Defense has just been off the wall. Offense can't even score until it's late. And that was with Dak Prescott. Now we got Andy Dalton, who didn't have a good show. And I really think that Kellen Moore held this offense back for most of the game because a lot of these quick screen calls that hasn't worked all year, even with Dak Prescott, it's not working with Andy Dalton. Kellen Moore is a liability on this football team because he's holding this offense back. So all around, the Cowboys, the 2020 COVID Cowboys, are probably worse than COVID.
It is. It's just another checkbox in everybody's life as far as how bad 2020 has gone. Personal life. Now we're talking sports. Complete disaster, man. The wheels fell off. And the division is so crappy that it's giving fans hope, right? We're sitting here 2-4, top of the division still, but I mean, the product that you're seeing on the field, guys. It's not it, man. You're not going to get far with this. And bad showing, man. Like you said, bend don't break. This defense is completely broken. Mike McCarthy came on this evening here with this press conference, which was kind of odd. I haven't seen him do a press conference this late in the evening. And, they asked him about the defense and this and that. Mike Nolan, obviously, and he's sticking with him. So he did admit there's some growing pains here. That he said that they did simplify this. So, to me, at this point, I just feel that he's kind of in evaluation mode, man. Just like some of these guys, they're just not going to be a fit for me, and I'm going to have to cut loose with some of these guys. So I'm just wondering, Mike, when is that going to happen? Are we going to keep these Dontari Poe and some of these underwhelming players for the rest of the season, or do they try to move any of these guys? What do you think they're going to be able to move any of these players possibly before the trade deadline? Is that even something they're thinking about?
Well, you can't do it with guys like Jalen Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence. You might be able to do something with Xavier Woods. Maybe somebody might give you a 4th or a 5th round pick for him. And maybe that's really not – maybe a 7th, It's just how desperate are teams, and maybe they see something in Xavier Woods. And that's my boy, Louisiana Tech guy, I had high hopes for Xavier Woods, and he's completely let me down.
Yeah,
Dontari Poe, there's no market value for allocating draft picks for him, so he's just a deadbeat cap guy. You just release him and take your loss there. But, I mean, and at the end of the day, you got to trade players to get draft picks because the Cowboys, at this track they're going, are going to have a really good draft pick in the draft anyway. It could be – the top 4 picks could be the whole NFC East the way it's looking, right? And so you got to save. You can't trade anybody and give draft picks away. Not in 7 weeks of the season now. So if anything, you trade away to get picks or something. I mean, but there's help coming. Cheeto Bay anytime now. Sean Lee could be coming back anytime now. Randy Gregory's for sure playing next week. Do they have time to get it together? But at the same time, you're 2-4. You're probably going to go into the playoffs 9-7, 8-8 at best. And if you get into the playoffs, you're going to lose about 6 draft spots just for losing a wild card game, right? So, I mean, they got to figure this thing out. And if they're going to start trading players, they got to start trading players. And I'm not saying tanking. I'm a winner guy. I love to win. But at this point, where's the winning at anyway?
Yeah, it's not even about tanking. They're tanking themselves. You don't even have to wish upon it. We're watching a live tanking. I mean, so we want these guys to win, but they themselves are tanking the season. They look like crap, dude. This defense is abysmal. It's the worst defense I've ever seen in my entire life. And I grew up, watching the late 80s. The back end of Tom Landry, the Jimmy Johnson era. I've gone through some of these real crappy defense, and this is scary bad. Like it's the worst, man. It's the worst I've ever seen. They're not stopping anybody. There's no effort still, and they get demoralized real quick, Mike. I felt like the defense kind of had a little something more in this game, but as soon as they got adversity, the wheels fell off, bro. I mean, they completely fell off. And man, that last touchdown at the end of the game, it was just a microcosm of the whole defensive season, man. This guy just ran right up the middle. We've been talking about defensive tackles, rammed it down our throats, man.
And that's what's embarrassing. All the Cardinals was trying to do was run out the clock so they can nail it and go home. And this running back takes it to the house on a third down. No pride. Yeah. And then before that, Joe, they had an 18-play drive with Andy Dalton. And I think there was like 6 minutes left to go on the fourth. No 2-minute situation, nothing, just an 18-play mediocre drive. And it wasn't for a couple of penalties, they would have even scored to begin with. So there's a lot of coaching and there's a lot of players that are just straight pissing me off. And yesterday was the icing on the cake, and and that's for bad terms right there.
Yeah, bad terms indeed. Lavelle, coaches and players need to meet and get on the same page. Crying to the media is signs of lack of maturity. So this is a great point, Lavelle. Appreciate the super chat donation here. Appreciate you. And that brings us to the next topic here, Mike, and that is this report here that Jane Slater released earlier today, and we'll take a look at that here real quick. Let's take a look at this. All right, Mike. So this came from Jane Slater, this afternoon. Cowboys players initially bought into keeping things internal. Now, as they sit 2-4, the discontent is leaking out on the coaching staff. Totally unprepared. They don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. They just aren't good at their jobs, Mike. So, you're hearing this, anonymous player or players, throwing shade on the coaching staff and just it just has this. We've heard this before from these guys. They threw Chris Richard under the bus. Marinelli, the defense was too vanilla. Yeah, It was like, so for me, the common denominator here, Mike, is the players. I'm tired of this crap of the anonymous whining and this and that. What is your take when you first heard this report here from Jane Slater?
Well, my first take is, who can I pin this on? And it has to be the guy that had all the bad juju with his coaches prior to that. And I'm talking about Jalen Smith. He probably does have a good rapport with Jane Slater to go to her and report on this. I don't see DeMarcus Florence doing something like this. He's more in-house guy. Knowing DeMarcus Ware for this long, being on the Cowboys, I don't really – now, maybe he did the FU text to Jason Garrett, but I don't see him ranting out, to Jane Slater. I see this like a Jalen Smith move, right? A leader of the defense has to reach out, and I think it might be Jalen Smith. And the reason why I'm saying this, because he's had coaching issues in the past. He didn't get along with Richard. He didn't get along with Ben Bloom. And that cause a lot of mishap on the defense last year and then turn around and it's almost the same thing. Jalen Smith, what do you want? Are you mad because you didn't have and he tried? I don't know if it's Jalen Smith. I'm just speculating, but I'm just saying, Jalen Smith, are you mad because you're not this big time player you are at Notre Dame and you come over here, Cowboys doctor gives you the surgeries, the Cowboys draft you, and now you're almost hesitant on every play. Every once in a while you'll step up. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for any player that's talk. I mean, the only person that can talk is Joe Thomas because he's been showing up. Other than that, no one else could talk on this defense except Joe Thomas because he's the only one that's been consistent. And that's a guy that is on a 1-year deal that almost didn't even make the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm talking speculation. Everybody, put your thoughts. Who do you think the anonymous player or players are that have leaked this? I agree with Mike. I think, Jalen may be one of those guys. Like Mike said, he didn't really get along with the previous defensive staff. He came out and said he wanted a simplified defense. Alden Smith was not on board with those comments. So I think you're seeing some rift here as far as like the old regime thinking and these new guys, these McCarthy type of players, Jim Tomsula guys. And, and I think another player that I think might be on this is Xavier Woods. I think he might be one of these guys. He's just he just seemed too casual, when they asked him about the effort and this and that. I just feel like he doesn't want to give his the full effort, man. So, yeah, my speculation is that Jalen Smith, Xavier Woods, who knows who else it might be. It's to me, it's probably one of these hot boys. You know what I mean? So, and there's no room for these guys to talk, man. And for me, it's not the coaches. Like I understand everybody's. Some people want to fire Nolan. Even myself, I kind of mentioned it last night. Maybe they haven't bought into Mike Nolan. It doesn't look like they have, Mike. So, but the common denominator are these players. That you removed all these coaches from the previous staff. You got these new ones, and here we go again. You know what I mean? So the common denominator to me is some of these players.
And there was a shot, I think, when the Arizona Cardinals got up 28-3. The ESPN cameras took a shot of Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, and Stephen Jones is literally face palming, shaking his head. And if I'm speculating the conversation, Jerry Jones is asking Stephen, how did we get here? And Stephen Jones don't even know how we got here. You know what I mean? Just because the head shake, it's almost like a Cowboy fan shaking their head, watching like, what are we doing? Yeah. That was the exact same nod. So if Stephen Jones is shaking his head like he can't believe this is where we are, it's almost time to fact check that front office and evaluate them on how. And Will McClay's in this conversation too, because Will McClay's good at picking draft picks from 1 to 3 rounds. That's it. Anything 4th or 5th, maybe 4th, but anything 5th and beyond, Will McClay's MIA. You look at Will McClay's track record for bringing in free agents, bridge player free agents.
Not good.
Not good. So this whole front office really needs to check themselves too. All this, turmoil that the Washington football team had with all these sexual assault allegations and this and that. This, I think, is even worse than the football team's front office because it ain't just the front office. It's the coaches, the front office, and the players. We're going to be like the Cleveland Browns for the next 7 years if Jerry and Steven don't figure this out and start cleaning stuff up. And it starts with them first, Joe.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And in that same picture that you're talking about, Will McClay was actually in the background in the shadows. So you got the three guys that are building this team. And you brought up a great point. And for me, I feel like Will McClay is riding the coattails of the Zach Martin pick, and that was 2014, guys. So they misevaluated Taco Charlton. They didn't get it right with T.J. Watt. They screwed that up big time. That set this defense back because that was a first-round pick. That set us back. We've been
the
trying
Charles
to find
Tapper pick.
Charles
that was
Tapper,
a third-round pick.
Yeah, he wasn't a good pick, and then so. They do. They need to reevaluate this. Is Will McClay more an offensive guy that evaluates offensive players better? Because if you look at it, they've had more shots. Defense, It ain't looking good, man. I mean, I don't
And
like it.
I'm going to tell you this right now. And you bring up Will McClay in the offense, and I'm going to disagree with you. I just don't think Will McClay is good at all. You look at Jason Garrett's first year as an OC in New York. What did they draft? 3 offensive linemen, right? Zach Martin fell to them. Jason Garrett loves offensive linemen. Jason Garrett's first pick was Tyron Smith, right? So a lot of these players just felt they got super lucky with CeeDee Lamb. Even Jerry Jones said they wanted LSU Caleb Chase on. So a lot of these offensive players that are studs fell to them in the draft. So I don't even think that's Will McClay's doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So there's definitely conversation there. We can't just anoint him, right? Anoint him as the best. I mean, obviously he's better than what we had before. We had Jeff Ireland in ourselves, and then we got Will McClay a little bit later. But there was that span where it was complete garbage. So I do like what McClay has done, but we can't sit here and say that he's been completely the best of the best because, look where we're at. You know what I mean? The talent is not. It's subpar. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, I mean, they need more help than. Oh, dude, this team is just a disaster. Like from top to bottom. Like I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know how we got here, Joe.
Speaking of disasters, here we go. Here's some more news for you guys. Sorry to dump these on you guys if you hadn't heard this yet, but Brandon Knight, he's having knee surgery today. This came from the press conference tonight from Mike McCarthy. So there we lost our left tackle now. Brandon Knight out for knee surgery. We don't know the timetable of his return, Mike, but now you got a major reshuffling here. Like you got to figure some things out. Do you play with Connor Williams now and kick him out, and kick out Zach Martin to right tackle? You got Connor McGovern, who I thought, didn't look terrible. He didn't look great, but it was good to see him out there. But that Steele guy, he sucks, bro. Like, dude, he is straight garbage, dude. That guy's killing us, man.
And I don't even know if Zach Martin will be available to play against the Redskins. He's in concussion protocol. The NFL doesn't take that stuff lightly.
True.
And so I know they signed 2 guys off of practice squads last week, I think, and none of them had snaps. So we could be looking at 3 more Terrence Steeles on this offensive line when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I think maybe I think they're hoping that Cam Ervin is getting close, but I mean, Cam Ervin he's not that good either, man. So we're taking a beating, and this is affecting the team. Just all these injuries alone. Not an excuse, but man, we've just had so many big time injuries. If this wasn't a COVID year, we would be just like, man, what the hell? We lost our whole starting offensive line. So your most vetted person on that offensive line right now is Connor Williams, and we've been trying to replace him for like 2 seasons now. So all of a sudden, he becomes a focal point. Can you use his versatility to move him to one of the tackle positions? So, man, it's going to be one hell of a battle, Mike. And we're talking about we got the Redskins coming up. They have a really, really good
pass rush.
They have to me, they have the best defensive line in the NFC East and one of the best in the league. I mean, they built that team to shut down this running game of the Cowboys and then some of the other teams in the division. And now you got Ron Rivera in there as well. He's all about defense. So, man, that game with Washington, I think it's going to be another that's on the road. So what's your initial thoughts on what we're going to do with Washington? Is this going to be another L?
I mean, you look at what the Arizona Cardinals did. I mean, they blitzed probably 35% of the time on defense and really disrupted Andy Dalton. And expect Washington to do the same. I mean, you got Brandon Knight's now gone, and that was your second guy. So you got your third string coming in here, playing somewhere on this offensive line. They're going to blitz, and they got the manpower over there in Washington to blitz and disrupt this football team. And if that happens and the Cowboys don't adjust to that, you damn right you better expect an L because it's coming. It's coming, and it'll be another disappointment.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I just don't see them holding up. And I mentioned this last night too, Mike, that the fact that Andy Dalton is not a mobile quarterback, you saw with this leaky offensive line, you need some mobility in that pocket, and he just didn't have it, man. We got some dinged up passes that came out of his arm kind of funny, some deflections, and they were bugging him all game long, and that was the Cardinals' defensive line, right? So without Chandler Jones, I mean, come on, man! Like they didn't even have their premier pass rusher, and they look like the Hassan Reddick, who was considered a bust by some of the people out there. He looked like a Pro Bowler. Like, dude, this is crazy right now.
Buda Baker got his first career interception in 5 years against us too.
Yeah, Buda Baker, he's an awesome safety. I liked him coming out of the draft. Another guy.
He's an awesome box safety, but he was playing more of a box. He looked better than a box safety against us. But that's all Buda Baker is. I mean, this guy was getting sacks and picks, and I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a solid player, man. They didn't have an answer. They didn't have an answer for him. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a big challenge. Washington Redskins or Washington football team, whatever the hell that you want to call them. I mean, it's the defensive line. We've been talking about this all offseason. You're winning and losing in the trenches. The Cowboys don't have it. They don't have it on offense right now in the trenches. Defense, they don't have it in the trenches. So, I mean, you're kind of asking for a miracle right now.
And it's Randy Gregory's debut, and I bet he gets about 30 snaps, and he still has to get his football legs underneath him. I mean, it's been 2 years for him now, or something like that. So, I just there's help coming, but I think they need, like you said, a miracle. They don't need just help; they need a full blown miracle.
Yeah, they do. And Randy Gregory's going to get some penalties. He's he's a penalty machine. So we got to keep that in mind. But the turnovers, Mike, I think is one of the biggest issues here that Mike McCarthy is really struggling with this team. Just the turnover differential, -13 right now. And, these teams are turning those into points. We've been given like teams 14-0 for the last couple of weeks now, and the defense has given up 34 points on average for the first 6 games now. That's our NFL record. Like it's terrible, dude. Like this defense is just it's really
you can't trust them. You can't there's no the only dog I can think of on this defense is Joe Thomas, and that's it. There's 10 guys that I'm missing. Worley, he does not. He needs to quit playing corner for the life of me and go to a free safety spot. I think he'll be better there.
He's not good. He's just not. He's not a good player even there. I don't.
They got. I mean, Cheeto Bay might help. Randy Gregory could help. But at the end of the day, Alden Smith, I mean, he was leading the NFL in sacks. He got 3 sacks in one game or something like that. And he's been MIA. Tank got 1 sack against an 0-4 team at the time. Like, there's nobody on this defense. And that's no knock on Alden Smith, by the way, guys. I know he missed 5 years. But there's just no dog on this defense. On the line, at the linebacker position, on the back end, there's nobody hungry. There's nobody that has heart. And at a high school level, they would already been benched. I promise you that. And they can't even get benched at an NFL pro level. Mike McCarthy, you're blowing my mind here.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that we saw a couple of series there benching Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he was a liability. And, man, if he fumbles again, dude, like, what the heck? What do you do? I mean, to me, he's got the yips.
He's not even
kickers that have yips, and it looks like he's got something going on there. Like
he's an older running back now. I mean, he don't even have breakaway speed anymore.
Well, I like how he looked so far this season. I thought he looked.
Not at all. I think I think at the first game, yeah, he did. But to me, it looks like Zeke is. His legs are 80 pounds apiece, and he's trying to carry 160 pounds on his leg. He had that 2016, 2017 Zeke is gone, and it's never returning.
Well, that's the thing that this team does too. They love to waste the talent, man. And running backs, you're Where he's at, they're gonna waste that talent, man. And then that comes into what do you do? You still have trade value for a player, you know what I mean? But some of these people they don't want to trade players. You know what I mean? Like, if this was Parcells or Jimmy Johnson, they would probably consider, we need a lot of help on defense. Where can we get some draft picks? And you got to think about that. Let's look at some questions and comments here, Mike Lavelle. We got rid of Garrett, and now we're seeing the mindset is still with his team. It shouldn't matter how much you make. If you ain't hungry, sit down. Coaches and players need to take accountability. Yeah.
That's a big point, and that's a huge point right there, man. Thank you for that, because accountability, there's none. There wasn't in the last 9 years, and there's darn sure any isn't in the first year under Mike McCarthy. And you want accountability as a head coach. You should have benched Zeke the rest of the game, Joe. And I think he only missed about 8 snaps, and he was back in there, not doing anything but picking up 2 yards, 3 yards. And Tony Pollard, I mean, his first run, what did he have? Like 13 yards, his first carry. But that's with the same offensive line Zeke was running behind. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think Zeke has really. I think the media could be right, and I think the media was projecting Zeke for the future, not current, for the future. And right now is the future. And to me, I think Zeke really, and with leads or not, I can't really sit here and say the Cowboys really got away from the run, because they were still trying to establish the run in a lot of these games. And it just kept getting them 3 and outs, Joe. It just kept getting them 3 and outs.
Yeah.
And your defense can't hold water. So, that's how you get behind in the games. I think they gave Zeke plenty of fair chances, and just the accountability piece of all 22 guys, including the special teams, those 3 guys, I think this team is just done.
Yeah, I think right now, the last I looked, it was like every 20 snaps, every 20 touches that Zeke has, he's having a fumble. That's a very high fumble rate. They said that this hasn't happened since 2014, I think it was, with DeMarco Murray. So I remember DeMarco Murray was a fumbling machine at one point. So they cannot keep turning the ball over. This team cannot. They're not a comeback from behind team, dude. Like, they have to abandon everything. They have to play different, and they're losing. They're losing that way.
Yep.
See what else we got here in the comments, guys. Redskins have a good D-line. Yeah, they do have a really good D-line. Soup Trap, Cowboys draft on intangibles instead of picking good football players. Yeah, it seems like they kind of roll the dice a little bit more often than we would like. They do that. That they have always been like that for a couple of decades now. They roll the dice and they get burnt. It hasn't paid off more often than not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point right there. On intangibles instead of picking good football players, and Mike McCarthy stressed that. He said, you give me players, we'll play them in the best spot, and look how that's turning out so far.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got here. David G. Tank for Trevor. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you guys want a change of quarterback? What do you think, Mike? Do you think this team, if they end up there with the number 1 pick, that they would take Trevor Lawrence?
Here's my thing, right? Trevor Lawrence, who is a stud. Dak Prescott didn't help this football team. Tony Romo didn't help this football team. So you're going to just go get a new rookie, rebuild, and we're going to suck for another 6 years? Yeah, I think Cowboy fans, we can't lose that hunger. And Dak Prescott can do that. And this is coming from a guy that y'all used to call a Dak hater, right? You sign Dak to that long-term deal, and then you slowly rebuild those pieces elsewhere through the draft. And then you got to quit signing the bridge free agents. It'll get you 1 or 2 splash free agents. If that takes you 2 years to get 1 each, then do that. But Trevor Lawrence, he's just not going to come in here and turn this franchise around. No one is. You got to allocate those cap dollars smartly, get rid of this toxic culture of Garrett guys that we have right now, and try to build something fresh. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence can really help this football team. Maybe with not probably you're going to waste the rookie contract on it, trying to get things right. I mean, Dak's situation it's perfect because we wasted that rookie contract on it. Now he's on a franchise tag. Now he's hurt. Now he's expecting that long-term deal. How many times are we going to get quarterbacks in here and keep trying to build around them, and it's not going to work?
Yeah. So my take is this on Trevor Lawrence. So if the Cowboys, for whatever reason, I'm just speaking out loud here, Cowboys have that number 1 pick, I think it gives the Cowboys great flexibility. You can either take the pick, take Trevor Lawrence, who to me is going to be the next Peyton Manning. This guy is like legit, sure start. You're not going to miss on this guy. And then you save money. You could tag and trade picks for Dak if you want. Obviously a lot of people have the emotion still, attached to Dak. He's a great guy. I love him. But it does give the Cowboys, from a business standpoint, it does give them the flexibility. Or they could keep Dak and hope that somebody gives them a king's ransom for Trevor Lawrence. In that case, you're still getting high-end picks. You could get 1 or 2 picks depending on who has them. So, and this isn't even really tanking for whatever. The Cowboys are tanking themselves. This isn't something that we're hoping and praying like, oh, please tank. They're doing it themselves. You know what I mean? So
if the Cowboys miss the playoffs, they're going to have a top 10 pick regardless.
No doubt. Though, to me, they're on course for a top 5. This just looks like 2015. I keep saying it. You lost Romo. You tried to go crazy with Matt Castle, and they didn't have a running game. You had the running back by committee, and it was a complete freaking disaster. That's what I feel like they're at right now. It's just sustaining way too many injuries. Where it's crazy.
Yeah.
Mario Flores, Zeke deserved the benching, got paid, and then he's all that feed me more. Should be bench me more. Blame Jerry, could have had Ramsey, but took Zeke. Yeah, so that is a conversation that will always be surrounded by the Zeke selection. It always happens. Whenever Zeke's doing well, there's not the conversation. When it's not, it's about we should have got Jalen Ramsey, and maybe there's something to it, man. This secondary, probably would be a little bit better there if you had Ramsey there and Trayvon Diggs whooping that ass. But that's not what we're doing this year.
Well, they didn't draft Zeke for Dak Prescott. They drafted Zeke for Tony Romo. And I think if Tony Romo would have stayed healthy, I think the Zeke pick would have been praised a little bit more. But then Romo got hurt. A rookie quarterback came in. Zeke took over the whole NFL in 2016, and then you had your prime offensive line in 2016, right? And it's hard to really beat up the Cowboys for that pick because if you go back to 2016, everything was right except that quarterback position because Romo was hurt. And so it's kind of hard to balance those apples to oranges when you have to go back 5 years ago and look at what the roster was then.
Yeah. Jason Renfro, we need better safeties. Yeah, they've been screwing around with that for a while, and it's biting them. Same with the defensive tackles. Fans have been wanting a defensive tackle and safety here for the longest time, and it really comes to the forefront when you're having a season like this, right? It's just everything really gets highlighted that much more. So. Yeah, man, we definitely do. That's been crazy. What else we got in here, guys? Let's see here. Professor Sanders, what's crazy? We could still make the playoffs even if we tank because this division sucks. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I hate that we're still in that position where it gives kind of like this hope. I mean, and it is possible. It is possible that they could string together some wins here because the division is bad and you sneak in. But, man, they need a lot of help. And I just – nothing that they have shown us to right now gives me any kind of confidence that they're going to be able to switch that light. unless they bench and cut some players, man. Like they got the same garbage ass players out there on defense that just aren't getting it done, man. You know what I mean? It's like hitting your head on the wall. It's insanity. You know what they say.
Well, the team's on life support, and if Dr. Randy Gregory and Dr. Sean Lee and Dr. Chidobe Awuzie can come and quote unquote save the day on this defense, maybe they have a legit chance. But if these three doctors come in and this team's brain dead, there's no hope. We got to pull the plug.
No brain activity, right? That's crazy. Cowboys Fan Talk in the chat box. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys check us out on Fridays. That'll be a 2-minute drill. Myself and Cowboys Fan Talk. Yeah, great guy there. Give him a follow.
Shout out to Cowboys Fan Talk. Let's go. Great show. 2-minute drill. Love it. I can't wait for the next episode. The second episode, guys. Don't miss it. If you missed the first one, go watch it. And then watch the second one when it drops. Is it Saturday it's going to drop, Joe?
Yeah, it'll probably be Friday or Saturday. We try to record it on Thursday, try to get it out Friday. So
we'll click the notification bell, click all, and you won't miss anything.
That's right. That's right, Mike. Great take there. Let's see what else we got in here, guys. Blue silver. Every time I see Poe, I throw up. I'm the same way because they're going to run at him. And that's what they did with Drake. They got him. That guy's terrible, bro. Like, I don't even know. You know what I did notice, though? He did have less snaps, right? And even Crawford had less snaps. I'm glad to see that they're trying to do something.
Speaking of Crawford,
yeah.
How are you going to get a taunting penalty and you haven't done nothing the last 6 weeks except get manhandled?
Yeah, man. I couldn't believe that either. I was like, Tyron Crawford, dude, come on, man. Like, what are you taunting about, dude?
I had to go to my roster sheet. Number 98, who's that? Where's he been?
He's got nothing. Those hips are blown out, bro. He looks so stiff out there. You're not getting anything from him.
The clutch is blown. He has no gears.
I'm ready for that contract to be done. Walk out the door. Sayonara, man. Sign Eric Berry, Eric Reed, Earl Thomas to help the safety spot. Yeah, Eric Berry, his career's done. He's got another surgery. I think he's announced he's not coming back. Eric Reed, I'm not sure why he's not even in the league. He can play. Earl Thomas,
blackball.
Yeah, he's been blackballed for whatever the hell reason, which is, I don't know.
I just don't see the trenches of where you win football games, man. And Earl Thomas, is he going to be our new 3-tech? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I just don't see how a safety can really help this team because it starts up front. You have good up front play, your corners are going to look really good.
You can keep replacing quarterback coaches, this and that. The problem is culture. Jerry's ego will not allow a new gym, so expect more until Jerry meets all that. No, this is absolute fact, Sully. I've said this too. Culture is one of the things that is the biggest thing to change, whether talking about football or even what's going on in the United States. Like culture is like, it's almost impossible to change sometimes, and especially like you said with Jerry Jones. These guys know they have a phone direct line to Jerry Jones. Oh, they're not giving me enough snaps, or hey, what, you know what I mean? Like that crap's real, dude. Like that is really taking the teeth out of some of these coaches, and I think that's why Parcells ultimately left here. Jerry fed him TO. He didn't want that. He said, "I'm out of here. Screw this." So, I don't know, dude. This. It's a crazy conundrum, everybody. It's a crazy.
I can't even find words, dude, because we've been. It's like you go back to probably your videos. You go back to my videos, especially. You just click on an in-season video that we've made. Watch that one, and it sounds like we're in 2020. In 2016. And it's just or 2013 or what? You know what? It's a broken record, and it's been this way for 26 going on 27 years.
It really is, dude. Like it might have to come down until, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down any bit either. He loves being the front of this team and the interviews and all this other crap. And yeah, man,
Cowboys.
that's
The
where we're at,
Dallas
guys.
Cowboys.
Mario Florence, I will blame the front office for being too loyal to players. Yes, absolutely. I totally believe that very much, Mario. Now we've had bad contracts in the books. Yeah, Dak wouldn't go to the media and do this. Thanks for paying all the wrong players. Yeah, so it is, man. The front office has done a lot of goof ups here. You know, they do have some wins, but they have a lot of stuff that's still giving this franchise a black eye, man.
Yeah, they treated these players like that cousin that's just going to stay at your house for a couple of days, till his girl gets him back. And the girl didn't want him back, so a couple of days turns into a couple of years. The point is, these players overstayed their welcome. A lot of them have.
Yeah. No, I agree. Greg White, Jerry's the real problem the way around there. It's just facts, man. I agree with that too. Yeah, and this is always a something that comes out of losing seasons is to stop supporting the team and the merchandise and this and that. But there's just, I mean, it would have to be literally every fan around the world. This franchise is what are we now, $5-6 billion franchise? So it's a worldwide franchise. So I mean, I
You
just
keep
don't
losing, though, it'll go down.
I don't even know, dude. I don't even know if that would. Maybe the games, but merch and all this other junk, that's where they're killing it. That's a hard thing to do. Imagine if Jimmy Johnson doesn't get hired, this team wouldn't win. That's true, man. Like, can you imagine, bro? Like, you go from legendary Tom Landry to who knows who Jerry would have hired if he didn't hire Jimmy Johnson. You're right, man. We probably would have been a freaking disaster, dude. Maybe that by then they may have moved the team or something, dude. This is the kind of like where we're at right now. This franchise, you kind of sometimes want to hope that they would sell the team, but this has become a family owned business. Like they're gonna have this team in the family forever. It's gonna go to Steven. This is gonna go to Steven Jr. I mean, it's just gonna go down the line. You just gotta hope that somewhere along the line there's some kind of great awakening or something, man. Big Country, appreciate the super chat, brother. Trade Gallup for a third, like the Lions did for Golden Tate. Okay, there we go. We're going to lose him in free agency anyway. Yeah, so you still have him for another season, and you could use the franchise tag, but I don't think that they would use a franchise tag on Gallup. So, Big Country, I totally agree. While you still have trade value, make the trade, right? Like get something for him. So I agree, man. And that's where the Cowboys, they don't do well, and they don't trade players away for draft picks.
No.
Nothing significant anyway. You know what I mean? So they hold on to these guys for a long time. They held on to Dez. They held on to Tyron Smith. You couldn't get anything for Tyron now. He's done. Mm-hmm. The neck, the back, that's it. So you can't get anything for him now. That's just what they do, man. They suck the trade value potential out of these players until they run them dry, and then they're done.
Yeah.
It's kind of a crazy thing. Totally agree, Big Country. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see what else we got here, guys. I think that's it, guys. I think this was a great show. Talking about the Cowboys, airing it out with everybody. Appreciate everybody in the chat box. Make sure you guys hit like on the video. Hit like now. It helps out the channel immensely. And if you're catching this on the replay, hit like as well. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, brother.
Yep. Joe has it right here, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter and Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube. If you can't find my channel, go to thefriscoreport.com. Joe has everything set up there for you. So check out the website. And these Cowboys, man, it's like they just drain your energy out. You're not even watching them. You're talking about them and it just drain your energy. It's toxic, Joe. It's toxic.
Hey, a toxic relationship. That's what we have, right? So I guess we're into it.
All the toxic relationships got divorced because of COVID. We'll see if there's a divorce.
I doubt it. All right, guys, we do appreciate you guys. Hit like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you for the next Frisco Report next Tuesday night, everybody. Peace out, everybody.